Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I came here today to talk to somebody who knows what it means to face a storm. I'm talking about the kind of storm that shakes the very foundation of your life. The kind of storm that comes out of nowhere, uninvited, unexpected, and unrelenting. Maybe it was a phone call that changed everything. Maybe it was a betrayal that cut deep. Maybe it was the loss of something or someone you thought you couldn't live without. Oh, but hear me today. Storms will come, storms will rise. The winds will howl and the rain will pour. But the question is not if the storm will come, but how will you stand when it does? Storms are inevitable. No matter who you are, where you come from, or how carefully you plan your life, you will face challenges. You will encounter moments that shake your foundation, disrupt your peace, and test your strength. It is not a matter of if storms will come, but when. And when they do, they rarely give a warning. They arrive unannounced, sometimes in the form of sudden loss, deep betrayal, or an unexpected shift in circumstances that leaves you grasping for stability. Life does not grant immunity from hardship, nor does it discriminate in its trials. The rich and the poor, the strong and the weak, the faithful and the faithless, no one is exempt. You can build your life with precision, carefully arranging each piece the way you think it should be. But when the storm comes, it doesn't ask for permission before sweeping through. The real question is not how to avoid the storm, but how to stand firm when it arrives. Many people spend their lives trying to dodge difficulties, believing that if they work hard enough, plan thoroughly enough, or pray consistently enough, they can escape life's tempests. But storms are not a sign of failure. They are not proof that you did something wrong or that you are unworthy of peace. Even the strongest trees bend under the force of a raging wind, but they do not break because their roots run deep. It is the same with life. The depth of your foundation determines your ability to withstand the storm. Understanding the inevitability of storms changes the way you respond to them. Instead of panicking, you prepare. Instead of questioning why the storm is happening, you focus on how to navigate through it. Instead of allowing fear to consume you, you decide to stand firm, knowing that this too shall pass. There is power in acceptance. Not passive surrender, but an active readiness to face whatever comes with resilience and faith. You cannot control the storm, but you can control your response. You can choose to anchor yourself in the things that truly matter, in the values and beliefs that will not waver under pressure. You can choose to face the storm head on, refusing to be moved by its force. Every storm that comes your way carries the potential to teach, refine, and strengthen you. It is not about avoiding the inevitable. It is about being unshaken when it arrives. Just as a ship in open waters needs an anchor to keep it from being tossed by the waves, you must be anchored in something stronger than the storm. Without an anchor, a ship is left to the mercy of the wind, drifting wherever the storm pushes it. Life works the same way. If you are not anchored, you will find yourself being pulled in every direction when trouble comes. One moment you will be full of hope, the next you will feel like giving up. One day you will believe in your purpose, the next you will question everything. Stability does not come from the absence of storms. It comes from being deeply rooted in something that does not move when everything else does. Your anchor could be your faith, your values, your sense of purpose, or the wisdom that has carried you through past struggles. It could be the unwavering belief that you are meant to rise above your circumstances. But whatever it is, it must be something unshakable, because when the wind howls and the rain pours, it is too late to start looking for something to hold on to. You must be anchored before the storm arrives. Many people try to anchor themselves in things that cannot hold them. They rely on money, status, or relationships to keep them steady. But when the storm comes, they realize those things are not strong enough. Money can disappear, status can change, people can walk away. If you tie your stability to things that can be lost, then when the storm takes them, you will feel like you are losing yourself. But when you are anchored in something deeper, something that cannot be taken from you, then no matter what the storm removes, you remain standing. An anchor does not stop the storm, It does not keep the waves from rising or the wind from blowing. It does not make the storm any less real or any less painful. What it does is keep the ship from being lost. It keeps it from drifting so far that it cannot find its way back. This is what being anchored in life does. It does not mean you will not feel the pressure of the storm. It does not mean you will not struggle, but it does mean you will not be destroyed. No matter how fierce the storm gets, you will not lose yourself in it. You will still be standing when it passes, not because the storm was easy, but because your anchor was strong. Storms have a way of shifting your focus to the wrong things. When trouble comes, it demands your attention, making you believe that the storm is bigger than anything else in your life. The wind howls, the rain pours, and suddenly all you can see is the chaos around you. Fear takes over, and instead of looking ahead, instead of remembering your purpose, instead of holding on to what you know to be true, you fix your eyes on the storm itself. And the more you focus on it, the more it grows in your mind. The more you stare at the problem, the more impossible it seems. The storm is loud, but you have to decide whether or not you will let it control your vision. What you focus on in the middle of the storm determines how you will come through it. If you focus on the size of the storm, you will feel powerless. If you focus on the fear, you will hesitate to take the next step. If you focus on the uncertainty, you will convince yourself that there is no way forward. But if you fix your eyes on something greater, something stronger, you will find the courage to stand firm. You must focus on the truth that storms do not last forever. You must focus on the fact that you have been through hard times before and survived. You must focus on the purpose that is greater than the pain you are feeling right now. It is easy to let the storm dictate your vision. It is easy to become consumed by the problems, the obstacles, the losses. But you must choose to shift your focus. Instead of fixating on what you cannot control, focus on what you can. Instead of drowning in worry, focus on the strength that is still inside you. Instead of believing the storm will take everything from you, focus on the fact that you are still standing in the middle of it. If you were not strong enough to endure this, you would not be here, but you are here. You are still breathing, you are still moving. That means you are not done yet. Fear thrives in misplaced focus. When you focus on the storm, fear takes root. But when you focus on your inner strength, on your faith, on the truth that storms come and go, fear begins to lose its grip. The storm may be fierce, but it does not have the final say. You decide where your focus goes, and in that choice, you take back your power. Storms have a way of making people stop in their tracks. The wind howls, the rain pours, and suddenly movement feels impossible. Fear tells you that if you take another step, you will stumble. Doubt whispers that there is no point in continuing because the road ahead is uncertain. Pain convinces you that stopping is the only option because moving forward hurts too much. But you cannot afford to stay in one place just because the storm is raging. If you stop now, you may never regain the strength to move again. If you allow the storm to paralyze you, you risk losing sight of everything that lies beyond it. When the storm comes, the instinct to freeze is natural. Uncertainty creates hesitation, and hesitation can turn into inaction. You tell yourself that maybe if you wait long enough, the storm will pass on its own. Maybe if you sit still, the winds will calm down. But storms do not work that way. Some storms do not pass quickly. Some storms linger longer than expected, testing your endurance, pushing you to your limits. And if you wait for the perfect moment to move, that moment may never come. You must decide to move forward even when the storm is still raging. Progress does not have to be fast. It does not have to be perfect. Even if all you can manage is one step, take it. Even if the path ahead is unclear, trust that clarity will come as you move. Standing still does not make the storm disappear. It only keeps you trapped in the middle of it. But movement, no matter how small, means you are making your way through the storm. Every step you take, no matter how difficult, brings you closer to the other side. The storm wants to convince you that you are stuck, that there is no way out, that this is where your journey ends, but the storm is a liar. You have more strength than you realize. You have more endurance than you think. You have faced battles before and you have won. This storm may be fierce, but it is not stronger than you. Keep moving, keep believing, keep pressing forward. The storm is not your final destination. It is only a passage, a difficult, painful, and exhausting passage, but a passage nonetheless. And if you refuse to stop, if you refuse to give up, you will make it through. One step at a time, one moment at a time, you will reach the other side. Every storm that comes into your life has an expiration date. No matter how fierce the winds may blow, no matter how heavy the rain may fall, no matter how dark the sky may seem, it will not last forever. The mistake many people make in the middle of a storm is believing that it will never end. They convince themselves that the pain will always be there, that the struggle will never ease, that the sun will never shine again. But that is not the truth. Storms are temporary. They may feel endless while you are in them, but sooner or later, they pass. When you are caught in the middle of a storm, time feels different. Minutes feel like hours and days feel like years. The weight of your struggle makes it seem like the storm has taken over your entire existence. But if you take a step back and look at your life, you will see that this is just one chapter, not the whole story. You have been through storms before. You have faced difficulties that once felt impossible, yet you made it through. This storm is no different. It may be challenging. It may test you in ways you never imagined, but it is not permanent. There is something powerful about knowing that the storm will not last. It gives you the strength to endure. It reminds you that no matter how bad today feels, tomorrow has the potential to be different. It allows you to hold on, to keep believing, to keep fighting. The darkest nights give way to the brightest mornings. The coldest winters always turn into spring. The longest storms eventually run out of rain. But while you wait for the storm to pass, you must be careful not to make permanent decisions based on temporary pain. Some people give up in the middle of a storm because they believe it will never get better. They lose hope, they stop trying, and they let the storm define them. But the storm is just a moment, not a definition. You are not what you are going through. You are not the pain, the loss, or the difficulty. You are bigger than the storm. Hold on, stay steady. Keep reminding yourself that this is not forever. The storm will break. The sky will clear. And when it does, you will see that you were always stronger than the storm itself. It did not defeat you. It did not destroy you. It only proved what was already true, that you are unshakable, even in the worst of times. Storms do not come just to test you. They come to transform you. Every challenge, every hardship, every moment of struggle carries within it the potential for growth. The storm you are facing is not just an obstacle, it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to become stronger, to become wiser, to become someone who is no longer shaken by the things that once terrified you. Storms do not leave you the same. They either break you or build you, and the choice is yours. Many people see storms as destruction. They look at what they have lost, at the pieces of their lives that have been scattered by the winds, and they think that the storm has ruined them. But sometimes destruction is just a form of transformation. Sometimes the storm does not take away what you need. It removes what was holding you back. It clears the path. It forces you to rebuild in a way that is stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what comes next. If you never faced a storm, you would never know how strong you truly are. You would never be pushed to grow beyond your comfort zone. You would never develop the endurance, the resilience, and the character that come from walking through difficulty and coming out on the other side. Storms introduce you to parts of yourself that you never knew existed. They show you that you are capable of more than you imagine. They prove that what once would have broken you no longer has the power to do so. There is a version of you on the other side of this storm that is more powerful, more confident, more unshakable than the person you are today. But you cannot reach that version of yourself without going through this process. Growth does not happen in comfort. Strength is not built in ease. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined by fire, and you are being shaped by this storm in ways you cannot yet see. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of focusing on the pain, focus on the lessons. Instead of seeing the storm as something that is tearing you down, recognize that it is building you up. You may not see it now, but one day you will look back and realize that the storm was not your enemy, it was your teacher. And because of it, you are stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever comes next.